Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.
Welcome to the podcast. This is your host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Keaton Walker, a passionate marketer, entrepreneur, and consultant who's helped hundreds of businesses grow. Keaton, thanks so much for joining us.
Great to be here, Seth. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. Let's go back in time just a little bit. How'd you get started?
Yeah, so I was in my first year of college when my brother, who was running the family business at the time, asked me to kind of head up the marketing efforts. So I started out doing road signs, billboards. I even knocked doors. The family business was a swim lesson company, so knocking doors to sell swimming lessons, one of my claim to fame. But did that and noticed throughout all of everything that I was doing, the social media ads were the most measurable, the most trackable, and they were getting us the best results. So I doubled down on that, and then eventually started my own agency running ads for orthodontists.
Okay, well, congratulations on that. Let's go back. I want to unpack that a little bit. Okay. So how did you go from, I'm sure the longer version's in a book somewhere or should be. How did you go from swim lessons to, I want to start an agency? Let's do that first.
Yeah.
Right. And how did your family respond to that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I grew up in the family business. All my siblings did. So we were teaching swimming, and I kind of transitioned from a swim teacher to then the marketer of the swimming lessons. And I was just learning all these things about writing copy, getting the ads out to the right audiences, getting them to respond, following up with the leads. And it was amazing. It was the first time that I had really just locked in on something and enjoyed it to that level. And so I just continued to go down that rabbit hole, and eventually figured out that, I was decent enough at it that I could probably get some other clients. So I was talking to a friend one day, and he said, you should go after orthodontists. They've got high profit margins. They're in constant need of new patients/customers because people treat out, unlike a dentist. And I was like, okay, good enough for me. So I reached out to an orthodontist and just decided to get on a research-based call where I asked them a few questions about their business model and what they might need help with when it came to marketing. And that person, that company, that orthodontist became my first client, and they're still with me today, almost 5 years later now. So that was kind of the transition, and my family was very thankfully super supportive. I continued to do work for them for a while, and then I ended up passing them off to another friend of mine to continue doing that because I was so focused on the orthodontic agency. But now I'm actually back doing a little bit of SEO work with them. So they've been a great help and really helped me get started, get my foot in the door. And then after that, just kind of ran with it.
Well, congratulations on that. I love that you closed your very first prospect. That'll set you off on the right path.
Yeah.
And then I love the fact that it wasn't that an orthodontist had changed your life by straightening your teeth. There's no passion life story. There's a reference that, hey, they need constant flows of new patients and they make good money, so go for it.
Yeah. Yep. That was it worked out.
Absolutely. Yes. Definitely different path in, but all's well that ends well. So Who's an ideal client for you now? Are you strictly focused on orthodontists now, or have you pivoted over the years?
Yeah. So continued to go down that route. Every time we tried to pivot or bring on different types of clients, I ended up regretting it. We went briefly into the sleep apnea world, but it wasn't worth it. There was no reason to leave the niche that we had built so much authority in and knowledge, and we could diagnose problems, help people fix things way faster and way more effortlessly. So I actually ended up selling the agency though in February of this year in 2023 to another, believe it or not, orthodontic marketing agency. So it was a strategic buy from them. We had developed some kind of IP around the follow-up process of the lead is generated, but how do we actually turn that lead into, first of all, a booked consultation, then a showed consultation, and then a closed consultation. A lot of that has to do with the appointment setting process. And so we had hired a team, trained that team up, met with a bunch of different consultants, and created a system where we were calling the leads on behalf of the clients. And that was a big part of the reason that we caught the attention of this other agency who ended up acquiring us this year. So nowadays I'm consulting other agency owners, helping people get started, and just working with marketers in general who want to increase their skills and get more clients or get more results for their own business.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your successful exit.
Thank you.
And that's a feat in and of itself, and not an easy undertaking. I know that wasn't what we asked you on the show for, but now I got to ask, what were some of the biggest lessons you learned going through the acquisition of your business?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think just that differentiation is king. Like, nobody's going to want to buy something that isn't different in some way or doesn't serve them in some way. And so sure, there's all those boring businesses out there you can buy that are just cash flow positive, and they're, again, boring. But if you're really trying to get acquired a little bit higher of a multiple by a strategic buyer, somebody that's noticing what you're doing, potentially you're stealing customers from them. It's all about what you're doing different than the other people around you. And for them, it was the things they mentioned throughout the process, that we had integrity. We seemed to be caring about our customers and taking care of them the right way. So the values aligned. And then also the fact that we had pioneered a process to follow up with the leads, which no other agency in the space had been doing to the level that we were.
That makes a lot of sense. Who is an ideal client for you now? You mentioned you're working with agencies and marketers. Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'd say someone who's, doing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 of revenue a month, but wants to double or triple that. And they want to do it in a way that allows their lifestyle to grow, the desired lifestyle to grow with the business instead of the business taking over. And I'd say in addition to that, like a lot of these agency owners that I'm working with, they're decent at sales, they're decent at marketing, they're decent at customer service. But at the end of the day, the retention is the thing that's killing them. We can sign 2 clients, but we lose 1. And so working with them on the expectations they're setting with their clients, the onboarding processes, and how fast the clients are getting results, all of these things come together to produce a really good retention rate, which allows the business to grow again, like I said, without them continuing to invest the same amount of hours every single month with no end in sight.
Well, that sounds like a much better alternative. What are some of the biggest, you alluded to a little bit, but I'd love you to go a little bit deeper. What are some of the biggest mistakes that they're making that you're helping them with?
Yeah. So retention wise, it really comes down to 3 things. It's what expectations are they coming on board with? What results are they getting? And then how much do they like you? Like that likability factor is actually very important, because a lot of people just do business with people they like, not necessarily the agency that's getting them the best results. And I would say the results, ironically, out of those 3 are the least important. If you set the right expectations up front, which just means educating your clients about the marketing process. So you're not saying, look, we're going to get you $1 million in 2 months. We have this crazy guarantee. Just sign on the dotted line. It'll all be perfect. nobody can actually fulfill on that successfully. And if you think you can, you're probably kidding yourself. So, first of all, setting the expectation, like, look, this isn't going to be a quick fix. Marketing is not a secret pill that fixes all your business problems. It's actually something that's going to make most of your business problems worse. Like, if you can't manage your team, you're just going to have more leads for them to deal with, and they're just going to be creating a worse process, or continuing a very bad process with more leads, which eventually get worse over time. If you have a bad reputation, it's not something we can fix overnight, right? We've got to help the omnipresence that you have in your market go up, and the positive sentiment around your brand increase over time. And again, it's not a magic pill. So expectations, super important. Then we've got the customer service / likability aspect. All of our 5-star reviews in my agency were, these guys get back to us so fast. These guys are so nice to talk to. They really listen to you. They understand your problems and try to help you. That was on every single 5-star review. Only some of them said the results are amazing, right? And so if you can, ironically today, the differentiation factor comes in, like getting back to people quickly and like actually listening to them on customer support calls, because there's so many people that do that so poorly. So if you can do that, those two things, that's like such a solid foundation. And then lastly, when it comes to results, a big one is speed. Like, how fast are you actually getting this to work? And I mentioned, like, of course, we need to set the expectation that it's going to be a while, but if we can, instead of actually matching that expectation, exceed it and produce the results that we said we probably couldn't get as soon as possible, we've delighted the customer and they're going to stay with us even if there's a slow month, right? So the way that we did that is coming out of the gate, doing some extra work up front to test, 3 different campaigns at the beginning, instead of just testing one. Okay, that one didn't work. Then we'll try again. No, that one didn't work. Now we'll try again. And the third one works. Instead, let's test all 3 at the same time, spend a little bit more on ads in the first month. And then we see which one's working right away. And the client gets a lot more value because they only had to pay us for 1 month to get the result they wanted, instead of 3 months. And there's this back and forth. We're testing, we'll figure it out. It never really ends well for the agency in that case. So figuring out how to get it as quickly as possible through variation testing right out of the gate.
That's that. I mean, you hit so many nails on the head in that answer. It's funny. There's a famous study in the financial services industry where I started that says the reason why clients leave one advisor for another, the 14th reason on the list is investment performance. It's not even in the top 10, but that's what all the advisors focus on. And I love that you said it's not necessarily about the results, and it wasn't in any of the testimonials. It's about the experience and how you make them feel. Obviously, you feel very passionately about what you do. What do you like best about what you're doing?
There's just something amazing about breaking down mental barriers. Like, that's where I get the most fulfillment in my life, when I've had a limiting belief and I break through it. And when I can help other entrepreneurs do the same, and just see that light bulb moment on a call or through a message or whatever it is, that's where I live for that. So
that makes a lot of sense. Well, your passion is obvious. We know your time's incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our folks who are watching or listening, maybe our agency owners or marketers want to learn more, where is the best place for them to go to learn more about you?
Yeah, so I'm on YouTube. That's where I put out most of my content. My channel is called ItsKeaton, ItsKeaton, or you can head to my website, ItsKeaton.com.
All right. This has been Seth Greene with Keaton Walker of ItsKeaton.com. Keaton, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, Seth.
Thanks everybody for watching or listening. We will talk to you or see you next time.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level, but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.